When Cherry Blossoms Whisper. Volume 3, Autumn's Unspoken Truth. Chapter 10, Ms. Hara's Advice. The day after Sakura's confession about studying abroad, Haruto couldn't focus on anything. His mind kept replaying the note she had left him, the one that seemed to echo the emotions she wasn't willing to voice directly. He couldn't shake the feeling that this was the beginning of something important, something he couldn't afford to ignore. It was during their literature class that Haruto found himself sitting in front of Ms. Fuyumi Hara, the stern literature teacher who had been a quiet mentor to Sakura. Her classroom was dim, filled with the scent of old books and quiet, whispered words of wisdom. Haruto had stayed after class, his thoughts too heavy to concentrate on poetry or essays. Ms. Hara, noticing his troubled expression, had asked him to stay behind for a moment. It wasn't unusual, the literature teacher had a way of sensing when something was amiss in her students' lives. She had always been more than a teacher to Sakura. Someone who understood the complex layers of the girl's emotions, which were often buried beneath the mask of perfection. As Haruto sat across from her, his fingers nervously traced the edge of the desk. Ms. Hara adjusted her glasses and fixed him with a steady gaze, her usual sternness softened by an underlying warmth. "You're troubled," she said simply, her voice cutting through the tension in the room. "And I can see that you're not one to share your burdens easily. But it's important that you talk about them, Haruto. You've been carrying something for a while, haven't you?" Haruto hesitated, unsure of how to begin. He had never been one to openly discuss his feelings, not even with his closest friends. But somehow, in the quiet solitude of Ms. Hara's office, it felt as if there was no other choice. Sakura, Haruto began, his voice barely a whisper. "She's planning to study abroad. She's leaving soon and I don't know what to do. I don't want her to go." Ms. Hara's expression softened, her eyes betraying a hint of understanding. Sakura's always been good at hiding her emotions, but she's never been good at hiding her guilt. She carries it like a shadow, always thinking she's not enough, that she's holding others back. Haruto nodded, feeling the weight of her words. It was true. Sakura's constant need for perfection, her stoic demeanor, it was all a shield. And beneath that shield, Haruto could see the vulnerability she was so desperately trying to hide. "She doesn't believe she deserves to be happy," Haruto murmured, more to himself than to Ms. Hara. "She's afraid that if she stays here, she'll drag me down with her." Ms. Hara smiled faintly, her gaze turning thoughtful. "Love is complicated, Haruto. It's not just about the good moments, the moments of joy and laughter. It's about being there for someone through their darkest times, even when they think they don't deserve it. Sometimes we feel we have to let go of what we love in order to protect it. But in doing so, we only end up creating more distance." Haruto met her gaze, the weight of her words pressing on him like an invisible hand. "But what if? What if she's right? What if I'm holding her back? What if I can't be the person she needs me to be?" Ms. Hara leaned back in her chair, her fingers tapping gently on the desk. "I don't think you're holding her back, Haruto. But I do think you both need to understand that love doesn't work by holding on tight. Sometimes it's about letting the other person go even if it hurts. But in that moment, you also have to trust that if you truly love someone, they'll come back to you when they're ready." She paused for a moment, watching Haruto closely. "And if you're truly in love with Sakura, you'll fight for her. But not in a way that drags her back into something she's not ready for. It's about understanding her, knowing her heart, and giving her the space she needs." Haruto felt a shift within himself. Ms. Hara's words weren't the kind of advice he'd expected to hear, but they made sense. Sakura wasn't leaving because she didn't care. She was leaving because she thought that's what was best for both of them. But he couldn't let her go without making her understand that he was there, ready to face whatever came next, together. I don't know if I'm ready to let go," Haruto admitted, his voice shaky. "But I want to be there for her. I don't want her to think that she's alone in this." Ms. Hara smiled, a hint of approval in her expression. "Then don't let her think she's alone. But also remember that sometimes letting her go doesn't mean giving up. It means showing her that you're willing to stand by her, no matter the distance." As Haruto left the classroom, his mind was clearer than it had been in days. Ms. Hara's advice had opened his eyes to something he had been avoiding, the fact that sometimes love required both sacrifice and patience. He didn't know if Sakura would stay or if she'd follow through with her plans to leave. But he knew one thing for certain, he wasn't going to stop fighting for her. As he walked down the hallway, Haruto found himself more determined than ever. Sakura's departure wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of something new, something they'd have to navigate together no matter where life took them. Thanks for watching our video. If you find this video interesting, then please subscribe our YouTube channel. If you're watching this video from TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, then follow our page for more contents like this.